I remember it like it was yesterday, even though it's only been 4 days. It was just supposed to be another chill night. I was sitting at my desk, lights off, hoodie up, scrolling through random crap online like I usually do when I can't sleep. I had just ordered a pair of earbuds off Amazon because mine were falling apart. Nothing special, just something cheap and quick. I wasn't even that excited about them, to be honest. It was more about the feeling, clicking buy now, knowing something was on its way to me. There's something comforting about it, like you're in control of something, even if it's just getting a package delivered. After checking out, I went right back into the rabbit hole. Reddit. I don't even remember how I landed there, but I found myself in one of those weird conspiracy subreddits. You know the type. People talking about UFOs, secret societies, stuff that's 90% nonsense and 10% maybe you should pay attention. That's when I saw it. A post titled "Dark Web Livestream Selling Human Organs." At first I thought, come on, this has to be a joke. But I clicked on it anyway, and the comments weren't laughing. People were saying it was legit, that they saw it with their own eyes, that it wasn't like anything they'd ever seen before. Some were begging people not to go looking for it. Others were dropping hints about how to find it. I kept scrolling. I don't know what I was looking for. Proof it was fake, maybe. Something to ease the tight feeling starting in my chest. But the more I read, the worse it got. These weren't trolls or bored kids trying to be edgy. These were people who sounded genuinely freaked out. The thread had a link to a tutorial. How to access the dark web safely. The kind of thing that makes you feel like you're hacking into the Pentagon when you're really just downloading Tor and enabling a VPN. But it was laid out step by step, like a walkthrough. I should have stopped there. Should have closed the tab, gone to bed, and forgotten the whole thing by morning. But you already know I didn't. That one click, that was the start of everything, and I had no idea how deep it would go. I downloaded everything the tutorial said I needed. Tor browser, a VPN, a throwaway email, and some basic security settings. I skipped a few steps. I wasn't planning on staying long, just wanted a peek, a look behind the curtain. Getting onto the dark web isn't as flashy as people make it sound. It's slow, clunky. Most of the sites look like they haven't been updated in years. But there's a vibe, a weird energy you feel right away. Like being in a room where no one's talking but everyone's watching you. I started with some forums, old message boards filled with broken grammar, strange code, and cryptic threads. Most were dead ends, just people posting nonsense or bragging about things I didn't even understand. Drugs, fake documents, shady services. Like a black market garage sale. But eventually, I found something. A thread buried deep on a page titled "Red Rooms and Real Shows." Most of it looked fake, people telling stories, daring others to explore deeper. But one post stood out. The show, midnight access only. No username, no timestamp, just that. I jotted it down and stared at the note. Midnight, like it was part of a ritual. So I waited. At 12:01 a.m., I followed the trail. The screen took forever to load. Then the background went dark. Red letters slowly appeared. Welcome to the show. And below that, a grainy video window started buffering. I should have clicked out, but I didn't. The stream finally loaded. It was shaky and pixelated, like an old VHS tape being fed through a webcam. The lighting was dim. The camera seemed fixed in the corner of a room, maybe a basement. Concrete walls, one metal table in the center, and a plastic sheet spread across the floor beneath it. At first, there was no one on screen, just the hum of a low static-like buzz. The live chat next to the video was already going crazy. Messages were flying by too fast to read, stuff like "start already" and "bring him out." Then someone walked into frame. The person was tall, wearing a black hoodie, gloves, and a full face mask. They moved slowly, almost like they were performing for the camera. They didn't say anything, just wheeled in a metal tray with several small, covered containers on it. I wanted to believe it was fake, a horror-themed live stream or some kind of performance art. But something about the way the figure moved, how serious everything looked, it didn't feel staged. It felt practiced. The masked figure opened one of the containers and pulled out what looked like a red, slimy organ, maybe a liver, maybe a kidney. It was hard to tell with the low resolution, but the way it dripped, the texture, it looked real. Too real. The chat exploded. People started typing things like, "How much?" and "I call dibs." Some sent what looked like codes or digital payment references. My stomach turned. This wasn't a show. This was a marketplace. I closed the tab, slapped the laptop shut like I was trying to trap something inside it. My heart was pounding. My mouth was dry. I sat there in silence for a long time, staring at the blank screen, trying to convince myself it was fake, that someone was just playing a sick joke. But deep down, I knew what I saw, and it wasn't a joke. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that tray, that organ, the way it glistened under the dim light, the silence of the masked man, the frenzy in the chat. I kept telling myself it was fake. Had to be. I even looked up movie prop techniques, practical effects, anything that could explain what I saw. But the more I searched, the less I believed my own excuses. Nothing looked as real as that stream. By the second night, curiosity had fully taken over. I tried to distract myself with normal things, scrolling social media, watching a dumb movie, even cleaning my room. But my brain kept drifting back to the site. I wanted to know more. I needed to. At midnight, I fired up the setup again. VPN, Tor, everything. I found the site easily. It was like I'd never left. Same dark background, same text. "Welcome to the show." This time the stream was already in progress. There were 2 people on camera, both masked. One stood at the table, while the other was bringing in more trays. I couldn't see what was in them, but I knew. The chat was even worse this time. More users, more codes. Some were placing bids. Others were asking for delivery options. One comment said, "Last one arrived fresh. Impressed." That's when I realized this wasn't just a show. It was a business. I hovered my mouse over the tab, ready to close it again. But before I could, the camera shifted slightly. Just enough to catch something in the corner of the room. A cage. I don't know if it was a trick of the light, but I swear I saw movement inside. Something, or someone, shifting behind the bars. That was enough. I closed the laptop again. But this time, I didn't just sit there. I unplugged everything, shut off the router, turned off my phone, sat in complete silence, trying not to throw up. I had gone back, and it was worse than I imagined. The next day was a blur. I didn't leave my room, didn't open my blinds. I kept feeling like I was being watched, even though I knew that was ridiculous. Still, every sound made me jump. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart skipped a beat. I tried to tell myself they didn't know who I was. It's the dark web. It's supposed to be anonymous, right? But something about what I saw the night before wouldn't let go. The live stream, the organs, the masked man, the cage in the corner. It was too much to brush off. Too vivid. Too real. I had to do something. Around 3 p.m., I picked up the phone and called the cops. This time I told them everything. I told them about the live stream, about the site I accessed through Tor, about the man on the camera showing organs, about the bids in the chat. I told them I thought it was real, that I might have witnessed a crime, maybe more than one. I even mentioned the link, though I wasn't sure they'd be able to find it. The officer on the line went quiet for a second. Then he asked me to repeat it all. So I did. Slower this time. I could tell he didn't know what to make of it. He said they would investigate. That was all. No follow-up questions. No one came by the house. No one asked for the footage or my laptop. Just that vague promise. We'll look into it. It wasn't much, but it was more than doing nothing. That night I couldn't sleep again. I sat in the corner of my room with a bat next to me, just staring at the door. I turned off all the lights. I left my phone on silent. I didn't even want to hear it ring. My head was spinning. My chest felt tight. I could barely breathe. The next morning, I woke up to 3 new emails from addresses I didn't recognize. No subject lines, no messages, just attachments. The first 2 were strings of random characters, long lines of jumbled letters and numbers. I thought maybe they were some kind of corrupted file, but when I opened them, they were just text files filled with what looked like encrypted code or gibberish. I couldn't tell. There were no explanations. The third email was different. It had 1 image attached. It was a photo of a human heart, not just any heart. It looked fresh, still red, still slick, still beating. I swear to God, I could see it pulsing, like whoever had taken the photo had done it just seconds after removing it from someone. I stared at it for a long time. My skin went cold. My stomach twisted. Then, about an hour later, another email came through. This one had a subject line: home. The body of the message had a string of GPS coordinates. I copied them into Google Maps. It was my house, not just my street or my block, the exact location, pinned. Below the map preview were 3 more images, screenshots, from Google Street View, my front door, my driveway, my bedroom window. That's when it hit me. They had traced me. Somehow. Maybe through the phone call to the police. Maybe through something I clicked. Maybe something I missed. Whatever it was, they knew where I lived. And now they were letting me know that too. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't wait. I picked up my phone and called the police again, this time with a fire in my voice. I told them they needed to send someone, now. That I had proof, that I was being threatened, stalked, watched. I didn't care if they believed me or not. I just needed them to see what I had. To my surprise, they agreed. About 30 minutes later, 2 officers showed up. They didn't look thrilled to be there, but they came inside. One stood by the door, arms crossed. The other followed me to the kitchen where I had my laptop waiting. I sat them down and walked them through everything. I showed them the emails, the weird coded messages, the photo of the heart, fresh, still beating. I showed them the GPS coordinates, copied straight from the email, and how they pointed to my house with pinpoint accuracy. I opened Google Maps and showed them the street view screenshots, my front door, my driveway, my bedroom window. They didn't say much while I explained. One of them took notes on a pad. The other took photos of my screen with his phone. I could tell they were trying to stay neutral, but their eyes said it all. They were disturbed, maybe even a little freaked out. When I was done, they stepped aside and talked quietly in the living room for a few minutes. Then they came back. "We'll be in touch," one of them said. "We'll update you if we find anything." Then they left. That was it. No panic, no urgency, no patrol car parked outside. Just that same vague promise that someone, somewhere, might eventually take this seriously. I didn't feel safer, not even close. That night, I didn't sleep. Again. Instead, I got to work. I called my internet provider and asked them to change my IP address. I even changed my phone number, deleted every social media account I could think of. I went through old forums I hadn't touched in years and scrubbed my profiles. I dug through old emails and unsubscribed from every service, every newsletter, anything that might tie back to me. I cleared out browser histories, wiped cookies, reset passwords, everything. I even turned off my GPS and stopped using apps altogether. I disconnected from the world as much as I possibly could. I thought maybe if I cut all ties, if I ghosted every trace of myself online, I could disappear from whoever was watching. But I had no way of knowing if it would be enough. I didn't hear anything from the police, no emails, no phone calls, nothing. Not even a wellness check. For all I knew, they had filed my report away in some dusty folder labeled delusional and moved on to something else. Something easier. Something they could actually explain. Every sound outside made my skin crawl. A passing car, a knock on a neighbor's door, a dog barking too long. I kept the curtains drawn, barely used my phone. I even turned off the TV because every voice, every sudden change in volume made me flinch. Was I safe? Was I being watched? Had they backed off? Or were they just waiting? The questions were a constant buzz in the back of my head. Paranoia became normal, routine. I got used to it, like you do with a toothache you can't afford to fix. A dull pain that never goes away. I stopped trusting my own instincts. Every shadow looked like a figure. Every light flicker felt like a signal. I hadn't spoken to anyone in days, and I was starting to feel like a ghost in my own house. Then one morning, the doorbell rang. My stomach dropped. I crept toward the door, moving slowly, carefully, like the wrong step might trigger something. I peeked through the peephole, half expecting to see no one there, or something worse, but it was just a delivery guy in an Amazon vest, holding a medium-sized brown box. He looked completely normal, young, smiling, earbuds in. I opened the door slowly. He gave me a polite nod. "Package for you, have a good one." And just like that, he turned and walked away, humming to himself as he stepped back into his van. I stood there for a second, stunned. A part of me relaxed. My muscles unclenched. My breathing slowed. For the first time in what felt like forever, I almost smiled. It was a weird, unfamiliar feeling. Relief. I brought the box inside, placed it on the kitchen table, and sat down. My earbuds. The ones I ordered what felt like a lifetime ago. A simple, stupid purchase. Something I did back when I still felt like a normal person. I grabbed a knife, sliced through the tape, and opened the flaps. When I opened the box inside, it was a human heart,